Hi, welcome to Pints Politics. I'm your host, Dan Parsons. As you know, Pints Politics is an event-driven podcast and vodcast. You know, we've transitioned to not only the audio, but the video. That's why I always have guests who are beautiful people. You know, back in the old day, it was just the audio. It didn't matter what you looked like.
Yeah.
But now we've crossed the Rubicon, and you got to be attractive and articulate. So anyway, that's what we do. Thanks for tuning in again. I'm delighted. This is episode number 32. So if you're following along at home, this is the 32nd episode. We've been doing this for a while. And so let me introduce our guests today. I'm pleased to welcome Todd Ogden, the president and CEO of the Downtown Lincoln Association. Todd, welcome. And let me give you just a quick introduction. Todd is a Lincoln native, UNL grad with degrees in advertising, and I always forget this, political science.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's our connection.
Yes.
And Todd serves on the board of directors for the YMCA, the Lincoln Haymarket Development Corp., the Foundation for Educational Services, and is currently a member of the International Downtown Association. Have you been grounded, or did you get to go to the convention someplace internationally?
All the conventions were canceled this year, so they were all virtual. So
that's just not
we
fair.
virtually met everybody. Yes.
Yeah. Well, welcome. Thanks for Todd and I have known each other for several years.
Yeah, a long time.
It's a pleasure to finally have you on the podcast.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah. And let me introduce Ann Ringlein, who is the manager of the Lincoln Running Company. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you.
And believe it or not, this is, as I understand, the 44th year for the Lincoln Running Company.
45 years in February.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. In
And
the same spot.
it's
Through several mayors. We survived.
Yes. And you've been with the company for, this has to be a typo.
Yeah.
36
Yeah.
years?
Yep. I'm a pretty satisfied person. I
Yeah.
don't need a lot of excitement.
Well,
Although there's plenty downtown.
yes. Well, a fixture in downtown Lincoln, and so it's a delight to
It's
have
great.
you, Ann. And
Thank you.
you know, when I talk to Todd, I just want to have a conversation about what's going on in downtown Lincoln, and you know what the future holds for downtown Lincoln, and post pandemic. And so we're going to talk about all the positive things, because all of us have heard about the negative stuff. So we're gonna champion downtown Lincoln and the retail business and the entertainment industry, and we're going to do that in about 30 minutes. But before we do that, our tradition, for those of you who have followed along the last 31 episodes, is we have a beverage to drink, and we're going to throw a little curve today. In addition to a wonderful craft beer that Todd and I are going to enjoy, Ann is going to enjoy a soda pop. And so the first question, Ann, is it soda pop or soda, or how do you refer
Pop.
to pop?
Pop. Yep.
Because it's kind of a Midwestern
Yeah,
thing.
I think so too.
Yeah. Because you go to the coast and, I don't know, they do
Right.
something different.
Yeah.
So I'll pass this along to
Okay.
you, and you tell us what you're drinking.
I'm going to be drinking Bedford's root beer.
Okay.
So,
Nice choice.
yes. Probably no.
Oh, other one.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
You can tell I truly am a
That's all
novice at
right.
this.
And as you
Thank you.
you pour that, to
Okay,
pass that to Todd.
There you go.
And so Todd and I are having, so Zipline is obviously one of my favorites, Todd.
Yeah, of course.
And this is their barrel-aged stout, and it's just called the Stout. And it's aged in bourbon barrels, and let me see, the definition, it's a Russian Imperial Stout, and it's what they've always wanted to brew. And they just simply call it the Stout. And well, here, open it up and pour you some, and then I'll describe a little bit of the notes. What do you think, Ann?
I think I haven't tasted it, but it's sweetened with pure cane sugar, and that's what I go
that
for.
can't be
yeah,
bad.
No. That's what I'm all about.
I hope this doesn't interfere in any running that you have to do
No,
later.
not
Okay.
at all. Should help.
Did you get your run in for the day?
Yeah, 5 a.m.
Wow. Well, look how dark that
It is.
Wow. Okay, Todd. So this, they say that this is a stout that the Ziplines always wanted to brew, complex notes of cherry, char, and molasses, aged with care in a bourbon barrel to create a bold yet velvety brew. So they're similar in color.
Yeah, they are similar.
Yeah.
So cheers.
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 All right.
All right.
Downtown Lincoln.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Oh, that's a meal.
Yeah, it is. I don't need dinner.
Mine's delicious too.
Yeah. Where did that come from, Ann? Does it say?
Oh. Port Angeles, Washington.
Oh, okay.
Northwest Soda Works.
Okay.
Established in 1984.
I should have tried to find a local pop, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Are there any local? Has Lincoln ever produced a local
I don't
soda?
think so.
I know.
Was
Yeah.
there a root beer from around here, like around Nebraska City or somewhere? Was there a root beer one
Seems
time?
like
It
that
seems
there
like there
was-
was something, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I didn't do local. But
I need to ask Ira Zeff, the AD at Wesleyan, is a root beer connoisseur.
Okay. Well, all right. So to get our conversation going today about what's going on in downtown Lincoln, as chance would have it, I opened up my Dead Tree newspaper this morning, Ann, and here you are. Of course, a good reporter would find you, and they found you because you had an interesting take on the latest award recognition that Lincoln had. And Todd, maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think we were just awarded what the happiest place in
America.
America. So yeah, that's always a good thing to be on. And yeah, focusing on the positive, that's certainly a positive here. That there is some happiness to go around here in Lincoln.
And we were named, Lincoln was named America's happiest city by Men's Health magazine. They surveyed about physical and mental health, to stats about financial and general well-being of the residents of 100 of the largest cities in America, and we got number one. And I loved your take on, and it was part of the health as one of the factors, and your take was obviously exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. I just sent we always have little challenges going on with the store, and I sent something out to the people that are in the latest challenge, and it was from a Canadian running magazine, but it was about how exercise. It said, you need to be moving outside for your mental health this winter, and it's as much about mental health as it is about physical health.
Absolutely.
They talk about nature bathing and all of this, and it's all part of it. Just getting outside is a huge part of being healthy physically and mentally.
And so how do you encourage your customers when it gets to be weather like this?
Yes, exactly. We put out a lot of stuff about dressing appropriately, and with it, this year's been very interesting, and so there's a lot of companies that backed off on their winter apparel, so it's hard to come by right now.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
what we have is what we have, and I spent all day Sunday calling all my different reps about gloves. Any gloves? Are there any gloves? And got a few, more coming in, but things are really kind of hard to come by for sure.
So supply and demand.
Supply and demand, and companies they are admitting now did a little knee-jerk reaction. A lot of them canceled a ton of stuff, just not sure what was going to happen, and so or cut back on a lot of stuff, and now they're regretting it because it's it kind of the pandemic really kind of had a different effect on a lot of people, and they just got outside. And if you were out this spring at all, you saw our trails were, packed.
They were yeah.
Jam-packed. I found I went to where I started delivering all our packages by bike, and I avoided the trails just because I felt like I was kind of in the way. So I just kind of used all my old little running routes from around before we had a lot of trails, and just found my way around Lincoln and saw some awesome neighborhoods too in the process.
Well, we've always talked about our trails and how our trail system is unmatched. Going clear back to Helen Busalis' days in the mayor's office. And Mayor Busalis had that foresight into acknowledging, even back then, that if we're going to be competitive with other cities in the Midwest and attract people to Lincoln, health is a big part of it.
Yep. When Lynn Johnson moved here, I know his goal was to get everyone within a mile of a trail, and I'm within a mile of 3 trails, almost 4 trails. So he's definitely, I think, accomplished that. And I feel like part of it is it makes people feel good, and then it also, the GPTN, the trails, little community and GPTN, they have a way of getting people to really want and feel like they're a part of what has happened. Like the new bridge has been built.
Yes.
We all feel like we're a part of that. And I had a lady call this morning, just an example, and she said, I read the article. She told Chris at the store, and she said, I just want you to know, I'm a customer. I read the article, and I made a donation to GPTN today. I mean, it kind of inspired somebody to do that. So
The Great Plains Trails Network.
Yep. Which is huge in raising money for the different things that have happened in Lincoln recently, and the bridge, the connector bridge.
It's
being
beautiful. I
unreal.
went, my daughter and I rode over that the
Yes.
first weekend it was
Yep.
open. It's beautiful
It
weather.
is. It's just beautiful, and it opened up a whole new part of Lincoln
It
for
did.
people. The Jamaica Trail and Wilderness Park, and that's real nature bathing when you can get down in there.
I'm not a runner. I'm a cyclist. So I.
You can get down there quickly now.
Yeah, it's
Good.
great. Todd, talk a little bit about what the challenges have been for the Downtown Lincoln Association just this past year.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest challenge I think is just everything's new for everybody. It's you can't reinvent the wheel of something that hasn't been invented yet. This pandemic has certainly been different and unique in a way where typically if we have problems, it can be kind of just a downtown centered problem, but this is a worldwide issue that everybody's going through. So a lot of what I've been encouraged with is some of these issues are, okay, downtown's built around gathering and bringing people together. So COVID's really been the antithesis of what downtown's all about. So how do you adapt from that? And little things like just it's really hyper sensitive to each perspective sector that we have. So in retail, riding your bike to get around and going to the customer. So a lot of what we have downtown is we're about bringing people to downtown. Now we have our downtown businesses trying to get out to their customers. So you have Ann riding her bike, you have Cinnamon and a Novel Idea being the book fairy going around and delivering books.
I love that. Yeah, I love that she's done that. Yeah,
our curbside takeout for some of our breweries and restaurants off sale and things like that. So a lot of it has been being able to pivot and really have that entrepreneur spirit to figure out, okay, here's the issue we have. Everybody's going through it. How do we get above this, and how do we get out of this? And because we're downtown, things work better when we work together. And I think that's the biggest thing we're trying to do is how can we get people on the same page so we can send the same message out to let people know, hey, we're here, and it's really important to spend your money here, whether it be local or downtown. And that's kind of the message we're putting forward, whether if it's social distance events or virtual events or just messages going out there. So that's been the biggest deal right now is how do we re-engineer something that goes totally against what downtown's all about.
Well, I know you well enough to know that that's a challenge that you've accepted, and because it causes us to be more creative. It causes us to be more in tune with what our customers want. And as you know, Todd, we've known each other for a long time. My interests, in addition to cycling, are food and drink and entertainment.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, it's just been devastating on all of those, and obviously retail too. And so, but you've adapted. You've adapted to the curbside pickup. I've now noticed maybe a transition because you had the signs up for a while, and now I'm seeing hooded meters.
Yeah, so we had the signs up, which technically wasn't legal what we did, but we did it anyway. So under city ordinance,
and I'm sure the city was fine with
when it happened. I was really proud of our staff. I think within 48 hours of when we were back in March, we had these green signs that Eagle printed for us, where people could write their numbers and say, hey, we have curbside parking. And you can get it whether you're retail or restaurant. And I was up there, and I called parking, like, well, we can't really do this, but we'll look the other way. So I was able to kind of hold them off for a while until it went back to the city. And the city did everything they can within the confines of what they had. So with that, we had to take those away, especially as we got back to a little bit more moderate COVID dialed area. And when it went back to the red, we were having more business say, hey, we need those back. So the city's done a good job of trying to go through the right hoops and figure out how do we do this where it is legal and we can do it, and it's not technically advertising, so you're going to see these white signs and hooded meters and stuff where technically you can't say it's for a specific business and things like that. But we've been pushing every day to try to get this done, and I do know the city's working their hardest to try to get this stuff done. But sometimes, anytime you go through insurance or legal or anything, I've always found it's never as simple as it seems.
Well, and I know from being a resident and a working downtown, you've always battled that perception that everybody just wants to drive up to your front door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you can do that.
Yeah.
Exactly. There is no trouble at all. You can come right to the door.
So challenges, the perceptions, and now that hopefully, and now we're into winter, and so that's an added challenge. And so I think for retail, obviously during the holidays, we're encouraging people to shop local. I know I've spent a ton of money locally this Christmas season. No spoilers for any of my friends or family. But it is challenging to be able to convince people now more than ever we need to support our local businesses.
Right. And I think we've all pivoted. That's the big word. We've all been very flexible, and I know a couple other businesses have started a web store, and that it's poor Leslie. I can remember at Francie and Finch stopping in there and kind of making my walkabout downtown and checking on people, and she's like, I am so confused. I've got the web store, I've got people messaging me, I've got people texting me, I've got people calling for orders, and then also ordering on the website, which is what we kind of have too. But it's just the first thing we do in the morning is just sit down and check them all off, and we double check, Chris and I, and decide who's going where to deliver, or if we're mailing them out, if they're from out of town. And it takes a lot more work, but
Sure.
It's a lot of fun too, because it's been really fun to see people respond. And the shop local has just been awesome. And I have 3 young guys that work for me and 1 young woman, and these guys are young, they're college students, and it's opened their eyes on shopping local. I mean, I don't think they even thought about anything before, and now they kind of do. They realize, if they get Saturdays, I always buy them lunch. They make sure it's somewhere local that they're going to, and I'm like, I love that. Yeah, you can, there's a local pizza place downtown. You can go get your pizza from, and
Absolutely.
So they stop and they think about it, and they question each other on some of their purchases if they're not local too. So it's good education.
It is, and the themes of, again, Todd, just from the marketing perspective, to be able to be creative and encourage people. The Takeout Tuesday. Today happens to be Tuesday.
Yeah.
I did Takeout Tuesday today. I probably will, tonight too. And for those restaurants and other establishments that taking advantage of that, what's been, Todd, some of the biggest challenges for some of your members? And just maybe something that's not obvious. I'm sorry, I'm just throwing that out.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I think the biggest challenge is really just accepting that, no matter what happens, it's not going to be the way it was. So business as usual is no longer here. And then accepting that, again, that's a worldwide issue. So how do we fix that? So when you first accept that, even for us, we have to accept, we want to help all of our businesses. And, I had to tell my staff, we're not going to help them the way they need us. All we need to do is do what we can and as much as we can to support them, and keep pushing along and doing what we can, because it's just not going to be the same. But along those lines, now's the time to kind of reassess where we're at and do a reset. And how do we pivot, and how do we make downtown a place where people are going to want to come back to? So do we plan ahead with future events, or what's office space look like, or and again, in general, downtown's becoming more of a neighborhood. So what little things can we do to make it more of a neighborhood and us a destination moving forward? So I think a lot of it, the biggest challenge again is kind of communicating that too. So I think for everybody to get on the same page and communicate, we're still here. Obviously downtown it's been hit hard because we have so many businesses clustered into the same spot. Just like everywhere else, they're hit hard, but it's spread out. So we're here, you can see it. more on a regular basis, which shows that people are coming downtown. They see that there's issues, but at the same time, there's so many good businesses that have been doing well and pivoting, and also new businesses that have come into the area.
Yeah, look at exactly. I
mean, new development. So there's a lot of positive things that are happening, and that's the hardest thing for me, because when you're giving any mass message, the last thing I want to do is be overly positive and say things are going to be just fine. The small business that's going to fail, or that's struggling, or has, or will, they don't want to hear that. Like, it's not easy, and that's clear. But we need short-term realism, and that's where, if we can get a spark with short-term realism to say it's going to be hard right now, it's going to be a long winter. Yes. How do we make that realistic so people can adjust accordingly and say, hey, let's support these businesses, let's support buying these local brews and supporting these breweries and bars who, a lot of them, again, their hours are cut and they're adjusting accordingly. The restaurants are having to make their adjustments. So let's support them here in the meantime, but then have kind of long-term optimism. So that's been our overall marketing message too, is short-term realism, long-term optimism.
I like
There's
that.
a lot of things to be optimistic about moving forward. But again, we don't want to step on the toes of those that are, it's going to be a trek to get there, but we're going to continue to stay positive and figure out how we can make downtown as good as it can be here moving into the future.
And you mentioned earlier the technology changes. We're sitting in the epicenter of the startup community here at Fuse Co-working, one of our sponsors, and this is the future. Yep. And we talked about it earlier before we came online. People are used to now telecommuting, and but they still want that sense of community. Right. I mean, I've been here at Fuse Co-working. My business is run from here, and I think, like a lot of small business owners who maybe have worked from home, I wanted that sense of community, and this co-working space has provided that. And I think this is going to, we talked about earlier, this is going to be the future of real estate's going to change. Yeah. And businesses are going to change.
Yeah. And one thing I want to stress is how DLA has helped, I think, all the small, I want to say boutiques, and we kind of include ourselves in that. And we've gone together, and we, at first it was a lot of, we have to get these workers back downtown, and DLA and we've kind of realized that's we don't have the power, and that's not going to happen. But what we have downtown is residents. And we have a lot of them. They're our neighbors. And so we have gotten together and we've decided we're going to have a neighborhood night, or nights during coming up in 2021.
Nice.
And anyone that I've mentioned it to that's been in the store, they think it's awesome. They can't wait. They're excited about it. So, DLA will help us get addresses and get emails and put flyers up and let them know we're having nights just for them. And that's who we have to, we have to be ready to cater to who we have downtown. And right now it's residents.
It is, and it's intergenerational. I mean, I'm now, again, a resident of downtown Lincoln. I was and wasn't, and now again. And because I walk a block, and I'm at my office.
It's awesome.
And, I'm not a college student. It may surprise you to learn that I'm above that age group, but you're right. The housing and the opportunity for everyone, from 50-something to 20-something, it's exploding, and it's going to continue to. And the opportunity, the Canopy Market, which is, I'm there almost every day, and so there's so many amenities that we continue to have the opportunity to attract not only young people and keep young people, but also other business and entrepreneurs to this city. It's really pretty exciting.
Just put a number to it too. We've done our latest report, and in 2010 we had about 3,000 residents, and here with the projected residents that we have now and the developments that are announced, that'll bump us up to 10,000 residents.
Really?
So it's growing wildly. We had the student housing boom, and that was fine and good, but obviously a lot of people know there was a lot that came on at the same time, and really we're looking for a diverse mix of housing options, and the more housing we get, the more affordable it will be too, because right now they're filling up fast, where we just need more product to be able to serve more people. And with us being a neighborhood, we need to be a welcoming neighborhood where everybody from all walks of life have an opportunity to live downtown. And I think that's what we'll have as we see this develop more. And that's the kind of people we need, that want unique stuff, that want local stuff. It's how do we be more welcoming to all types of cultures and neighbors and different socioeconomic backgrounds.
Yep.
And that's what downtown needs to be about. We need to be welcoming to everybody, because that unique perspective is what our businesses already offer. So I think we have those offerings when we do get those residents here.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really wonderful. Well, see, I told you this 30 minutes would go really, really fast, and here we are. Producer Steve has given me the 5-minute sign. So let me wrap up and by thanking our sponsors. So thank DLA, the Downtown Lincoln Association, and so don't forget to shop local and buy downtown this winter, because we're counting on our friends and our neighbors to make sure that all of us survive this pandemic, and we come out on the other side even stronger. So all shopping specials and holiday gift guide is listed on downtownlincoln.org.
Got it.
Right, Todd?
Yep.
So please go to downtownlincoln.org if you have last minute holiday shopping to do. I can guarantee you that they can direct you to the perfect gift. And please plug your shop, and where can we find you?
Lincoln Running Company at 1213 Q Street. You're right, we've been there for 45 years.
That's amazing.
Never moved, same spot. We doubled our size 5 years ago, which has been wonderful.
Yeah.
It's been a godsend. So
Yep.
we are happy to be there, and we plan on being there forever. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Thank you for being here. And I also want to thank our other sponsor, Nebraska Horsemen's Benevolent Protection Association, a wonderful sponsor for us, the Nebraska HPBA, Pints Politics producer, Steve Van Hoosen. Behind the camera, you'll never see Steve's face, because he just does that. He's behind the scenes. Kim Remington, Operations Manager at Parsons Public Relations. Sometimes Kim delivers extra drinks to us, but we didn't need one. So thank you, Kim. Pints and Politics theme music by Jack Rodenberg. How about that?
Really?
So if you're listening to this, you're probably hearing Jack's rendition of the theme music for us, and the Rodenberg name is obviously stellar in this community. Fuse Co-working, Parsons Public Relations, and I want to thank once again our guests, Ann Ringlein from Lincoln Running Company, Todd Ogden from Downtown Lincoln Association, and so look for a fresh Pints and Politics. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and you can see the video version of this on YouTube. And so thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us.
Yeah.
Great.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Cheers.
Yes.